Happy Monday. I'm not going to lie to y'all. We didn't even set up the mic before we started. I was having a little bit of a panic attack, but you would have never known if I didn't tell you. Welcome to Valley Vision. I'm Abby Alonso, Joe Mitchell. We're going to get it started hot right off the bat. We had a game recap last night. We talked about the LSU women's basketball team blowing Arkansas out the water. And Joe slaved away today with some of the footage he got from last night's game to make this really cool little compilation of some of the best shots of the game. So you know what? We decided that from here on out, every so often, we're going to do a St. Rock shot of the game, meaning that our lovely sponsor here, St. Rock Vodka, partnered with Bayou Traditions. You buy a bottle, it goes back to NIL, supports the LSU athletes. We're sponsored by 7-3 Distilling, and we figured, you know what, we're going to start doing this segment. So roll the tape, and then we'll take a shot. I'm her. You heard Michaela Williams? I'm her. Cheers to that. St. Rock shot of the game. Michaela Williams got it. Bottoms up.
I hit the table.
You didn't hit the table?
I did after the fact. Or like
Woo.
before I took it, but.
It didn't burn, but it did clear my sinuses. I'm struggling today. Felt kind of good. All right, let's get into it. Speaking of women's basketball, they have moved to 9th in the AP polls. Again, beat Arkansas last night. Michaela Williams had 21 points and 9 rebounds. Haleigh Van Lith had 20 points. She also had 6 assists and a season-high 5 rebounds. Angel Reese had her 11th double-double with 16 points and 17 rebounds. If you want a better, more in-depth breakdown or recap of that game, we filmed it last night right after it. It's on our YouTube channel, so go check that out. But they are playing South Carolina, number 1 undefeated South Carolina and Dawn Staley on Thursday. It's a huge game. That being said, because it is such a huge game, it is going to be packed, right? Tickets are going for like $1,000. Luckily, we have media passes. That doesn't mean that we'll get a parking spot if we don't go early, so we are going to go early, and we've got some really cool content lined up. We're going to get out there because normally we do a live show at 5 on Thursday, but Joe had the brilliant idea to go live out there on the phone, so it'll be a little bit more of a laid-back environment, but we're going to be out there talking to the students that are in line for the game, fans, talking about score predictions, what they're expecting to see, who their favorite player is, how they feel about the matchup, all kinds of stuff. We're just going to preview the game in a really relaxed way. And maybe, just maybe, we'll bring some of this vodka out there for people to try if they decide to talk to the camera. Yes, sir.
Speaking of the vodka, you
Yeah.
just got a comment saying we're real ones for that shot. It's super easy. Like, that is a great vodka.
No, those reactions were so real. We can't edit that right after, so that's exactly – it's so smooth. It's so smooth. Like I said, it cleared my sinuses a little bit because it is vodka, but – I'm not big into shooting straight vodka, especially if it's not chilled, and we just did that and it wasn't bad. So if you're looking for a vodka, I'll say it again, St. Rock, Bayou Traditions, go buy a bottle. But yeah, we are real ones because it's 5 o'clock on a Monday. We're doing a live show. I'm a little sick, and we're still shooting it. So. But
it is 5 o'clock. So.
It is. It's 5 o'clock somewhere here.
Here, yeah.
It's 5 o'clock here. But we will be out there at the PMAC before the game talking to you guys, connecting with you guys. If you've got Valley Vision merch and you decide to wear it to the game, make sure you let us know. We'll come find you. We'll take a picture with you. We'll post it. I think in the future we're going to be doing some giveaways for people who wear Valley Vision merch to LSU events. I know there's a couple people that bought crew necks and hoodies because Thursday's game is a whiteout game, and we do have white crew necks and hoodies. Wink, wink. Go purchase one. But yeah, and then during the game, obviously we're going to watch the game, but after the game, we're going to be right back here, and we're going to do a live show, and Anthony Renato is going to come in. We're going to kind of talk about the game, give analysis, fan takes, reactions, all the BS. We're going to have some fun. We'll have some more St. Rock shots. We'll have a little bit of a party, hopefully a victory party, right? That's going to be a good one. Normally we leave the games at halftime to come set up for a live show, but I was like, guys, we're not leaving. This is going to be, unless it's a blowout, which I don't think it will be, but we're staying till the end and we're just going to do a late night recap. So make sure y'all mark that down and come hang out with us after the game on Thursday. We would love to have you in the chat and answer questions and just chop it up with you guys after that game. Switching over to men's basketball, they played Texas A&M this past weekend for the second time this season. Unfortunately, they didn't have the same success they had the first time they played them. They beat them the first time. They lost to them this weekend, 73-69. The last time they played, they ended up beating them by double digits. So completely different ball game here. Matt McMahon talked to the media after and said, we had the opportunities and we weren't able to get the job done. And I think it came down to rebounds. I think that was the key to this one. It wasn't a lack of effort and it wasn't a bad game. It was just the fact that they just couldn't box out. They weren't playing the glass right. The rebounds, it was kind of a pitiful performance when it came to rebounds. I know you watched that game and you had kind of a similar take on when it came to rebounding, both offensive and defensive.
Yeah, specifically offensive.
Yeah.
Specifically defensive. Texas A&M had 27 second chance points. LSU had none.
Yes.
That's rough.
I was going to say, in the first time they played, LSU out-rebounded A&M 46-40, and in this past weekend, they lost that battle 48-34. The numbers tell you exactly what happened. Again, it's disappointing. It's an SEC game. It's a home game. You just came off of that big win where you started to fill the stands a little bit. And it's kind of an energy or a momentum kill when you lose a game like that at home. But they are ready to bounce back. Disappointing, but not completely and utterly disgusted with the way that they played. Excuse me, that vodka, man. Got me a little bit. Not in a bad way. It's real smooth. But Matt McMahon said, it's back to the drawing board. The coaches are back at it. They're going to get back at it today in practice and get ready to move on. You can't hinder and dwell on a loss like that. You move forward. So they split the series with Texas A&M, winning the first time, losing this past weekend. Gymnastics is doing something, y'all. Jay Johnson said it the first week that they're showing some championship level performances, and this past Friday solidified that. They upset number 6 Kentucky. LSU went into this ranked 8th. Obviously, Kentucky ranked 6th. And LSU posted the highest score in the country with a 198.125. It's the highest from any SEC team this season. The team had a season high on vault with 49.525. Haleigh Bryant, of course, takes home that title again. Who's surprised? Not me. Queen of vault with a 9.975. The team also had a season high on beam. Now, beam was the area that they were struggling in, right? That was, of all 4 events, that was probably the weak link and where they just didn't have as much confidence or they just didn't execute as well on beam. And this past weekend, they did much better. Again, season high 49.425 in the final rotation. Haleigh Bryant and Kiya Johnson rack perfect 10s. Haleigh had a perfect 10 on bars, Kiya on floor. That's nothing new. But and Haleigh gets 10s all the time. Not to take away from that. It's incredible to see her continue to do that. But Kiya had a really cool story. And I don't think she didn't realize, Jay Clark didn't realize, the team didn't realize that last season her Achilles injury happened against Kentucky. And she was out for the year. And then she comes back around competing against Kentucky and racks a perfect 10. So really cool story. I know they asked her about it in the press conference, and she was like, oh, yeah, I didn't have a clue. I didn't put 2 and 2 together. I just didn't know. So it was cool to see her reaction in the presser about how when she found that out. She also, and Jay Clark talked about how, they didn't necessarily need her to go in that 6th spot on floor. They had already won. It was already locked in, just the numbers. But to allow her to have that chance, she felt good. She wanted to do it. She likes the floor and the PMAC, give her that shot to perform, and she comes out with a 10. So it was really cool to see. He also talked about Sierra Ballard and Savannah Schoner. And both of them have been huge parts of this team, and they might not be all around. They might not do every event, and Clark kind of talked about that in the presser about how a lot of the media and a lot of the eyes are on the all-arounders and the girls who do all 4 events, like Kiya and Haleigh. But you can't overlook the Sierras and the Savannahs because they had killer performances on Friday night. So much so that the PMAC was booing at their scores because they thought they deserved 10s. That was a whole nother thing, and Jay Clark was real careful to talk about it in the presser. He wasn't happy with the scores, but he was going to leave it alone. They won. He'll take it. But even on social media, the underscoring, and a lot of people believe that a lot of the LSU routines deserve to be 10s. I think Sierra had her floor routine. I remember when they gave her the score, the whole PMAC was booing. Not because she did anything bad or because they didn't agree with the score. They thought she deserved a 10. So shout out to Sierra and Savannah for kind of maybe being a little bit overlooked by the fan base or the media. But they bring a lot to the team, and it's important to kind of highlight those leaders, even if they're not all-arounders. It was Jay Clark's 50th win, and he was asked about it in the presser. Did you know you had 50 wins? And he was like, all right. Cool. Like, that's not that many. And it was kind of funny because he compared himself to Kim Mulkey, who just got, she's at 710 now, huh? Yeah, 710. He was like, okay, 50, really? Just at LSU, so he's got more than that, but he was super humble, and it was a very cute reaction to him being like, whatever. Last thing about gym, we have set up a one-on-one with Kiya Johnson tomorrow. She was on Up and In a couple months ago. We know her story. She shared it with Anthony on the Purple Couch. But tomorrow, we're going to head to the gymnastics facility to get a little bit more from her, talk to her about being back, about that 10, about what she does outside of gymnastics, how she's recovered from the Achilles injury. And I know that we're not allowed to touch any of the equipment, and they don't like the girls doing any gymnastics kind of activity outside of gym because liability, right, injury. But I'm going to see what I can play with there. We're going to play around in the facility. I'm super pumped for that. We're going to be doing that at 2 tomorrow, so it'll go out on Wednesday. So be on the lookout for that. And we'll round out with track and field. They had their first road trip of the season, the Texas Tech Corky Classic. Michaela Rose set the collegiate record in the 600-yard race, running a time of 1:16.76. She now owns 2 of the top 3 600-yard times in collegiate history. Aaliyah Armstrong set a nation-leading time of 7.9 seconds in the 60-meter hurdle. And Miles Thomas and Morgan Smalls took wins in the men's 60-meter and long jump. So don't sleep on your track athletes. We talk about being a sports school, and we talk a lot about basketball and gym and baseball and football, but keep an eye on those smaller sports that might not get as much love because they're breaking records and holding, collegiate all-time records. She's got 2, Michaela Rose. Come on. You got to show some love to those girls and the guys. That's about all we got today. Right? Did I miss anything? No? That shot's got me off a little bit. Remember, we are going to have a little bit of a different schedule on Thursday because of the South Carolina LSU game. We'll be at the PMAC. Come find us. We would love to connect with y'all and meet our supporters. We appreciate y'all, and we will see y'all so soon.